In this episode of Lemon to Lambo, we fix the 350Z. Alright, today we are fixing the latest Lemon, the 350Z. We've got new valve cover gasket. While we're here, we're going to be doing new oil filter. We've also got a crush washer. The one that's currently on the car looks like it's been reused a fair few times. It's completely snapped and it's no longer sealing anything. So we'll replace that. We'll also, while we're here, do the hood. And then a couple of little things, shift knobs, stuff like that. Technically, the one we've got is illegal at the moment, so we need to change that in order to be able to get it roadworthy, but we'll get into that when we get there. So sit back and relax and watch myself. I'd say myself and Morgan, but as usual, Morgan isn't getting his hands dirty. So I'll watch myself get my hands dirty and Morgan film the whole process. So James likes to talk a bit of smack. I do actually work on these cars. I'm just behind the camera setting it up and you'll see my hands doing some things. But pretty much we took the hood off because we're replacing the hood anyway to the new one we got, and without the hood we have heaps of access to do things. So that's out of here. With the way the V works on these 350Zs and the intake on them, there's just a lot of stuff in the way. So it's not as easy as most cars, like just a straight, 6, taking off the valve cover. This one, you gotta take the plenum off, you gotta take this, and there's so many things in the way. But we've finally taken it off. It did fight us a little bit, but it wasn't that hard. To put in perspective as well, the guy who previously owned this was quoted $2,000 to fix the valve cover from a shop, which is a bit ridiculous, but I think the amount of work that's involved, I can kind of understand it, because it's just a lot of stuff you have to take off. So now that's off. We were looking at it. The engine actually seems like it's in good condition. The oil has been changed regularly. Obviously, we have seen the oil leak on the side of the gasket, so that's what we're obviously replacing. So now we're just going to get a razor, clean up all the side, and put the new gasket on, and we're probably going to put a little bit of gasket goo around just the spark plug socket chamber bit, just because we don't want any oil in there as well. But yeah, so we'll get onto that and then tidy everything, put everything back together.
right, so the 350Z, at least from the top of the engine, is now hopefully not leaking. Amazingly, it was a lot easier putting it back in, wouldn't you say, Morgan? A lot easier putting everything back than it was taking it off. And we didn't have any leftover bolts, so we must have done something right. But now the top's all sorted. We are then going to put the new hood on, so the car actually looks somewhat decent. We're then going to roll it back, chuck it up on the lift, and we're going to drain the oil, do an oil change, just so we can change the crush washer, because that was split and it seems like it's leaking from there, but there's just that much oil on that side of the engine from up top from that valve cover that we might as well change it while we're there. So in the intro of this video, you're probably wondering why Morgan and I had quotation marks around the fixed part of the 350Z. And that is because we messed up. We are only human, and when we installed the valve cover gaskets, it's such a tight fit that one of the parts of the gasket just moved out of the channel that the valve cover has. And we didn't realize it until Morgan went to move it on the lift for us to do the oil, and there's a bunch of oil on the ground. So luckily we didn't waste any of the new fresh oil, but we do need to do that valve cover gasket again. We are ordering a new one, so we're not taking any chances with that one that's been squashed in the wrong way. But rather than shooting a whole nother video of doing exactly the same thing for you guys, we're just gonna do it again off camera, and then that way that'll be all fixed. Swap the hoods around, it looks really good, except for the fact that Morgan forgot to bring the heat gun, so now there's a nice sticker invoice thing on the front. Yep. And the shift knob, at least in Queensland, I don't know about other states in Australia, but definitely in Queensland, your shift knob has to have the shift pattern on the shift knob or somewhere visible around the shift knob to be legal, and then allow us to get a roadworthy. Unfortunately, Dragon Ball Z balls don't have a shift pattern on it, so we had to take that out. Thankfully, the previous owner included the stock shifter with the car, so we didn't have to go buying one.
We could have gone for just a sticker. What some people do is chuck a sticker on, but
then we had to buy it.
And it doesn't look that great.
Yeah, so anyway, the stock shifter as well is quite nicely weighted, whereas the Dragon Ball Z shifter is not at all. It's very light, which is not really what you want out of a shifter. So it feels a lot better. We'll obviously know when we're able to drive it, but obviously at the moment we can't drive it because the valve cover is now leaking even worse because the seal isn't on. So yes, that's it. Once the valve cover is sorted, we'll be able to get it roadworthied. We'll be able to do your review, and hopefully Morgan can sell it.
Yep.
But yes, if you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button, comment below. Have you ever squished a gasket wrong and made you do it 2 times? And we obviously didn't realize it was done until the car was in the air. So we have got the painstaking process of taking everything else out.
The part we squished as well was on the low side of the V where there's all stuff in the way, so you can't even see until you're under the car and you look up.
There's thick engine loom, there's fuel stuff.
So I think what we'll have to do next time is to jack it up, make sure it's not, you know, like squished.
Visibly squished,
looking at the bottom and then
go from there.
Down and then up and down. It'll be annoying, but
what we'll do is we'll clean up with degreaser and stuff, and then in the video where we sell the car, we'll include that. We'll show photos and everything that it's definitely done properly. We're not trying to quickly flog this away with the huge oil leak.
I don't think you could drive it with the amount of oil coming out of it.
Nah, it came out pretty quickly. And all over the exhaust. So as soon as that exhaust heated up, it would start smelling very badly. But thanks heaps for watching. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button. Only 20% of you are actually subscribed. So the other 80% freeloaders, even though YouTube's free, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. And we'll see you, hopefully, having sold this car and the review. Cool. Bye.